Henry came home from the war with weathered hands, tired eyes, and a silence that settled over him like dust. In the small American town where he had grown old, he walked before sunrise through fog-softened streets carrying old tools in a wooden box. He never hurried. He never spoke much. The only place he returned to each day was the little church garden his late wife Margaret had once tended with such joy. After she died, Henry stopped believing he belonged anywhere. He withdrew from neighbors, from family, even from prayer. Yet he kept working the soil beside the old church, pulling weeds, mending broken stones, planting marigolds and tomatoes, as if his hands could say what his heart could not. One morning, a boy named Eli stood at the fence, his eyes red from crying. He had recently lost his father and carried his grief like a heavy backpack. Henry looked up from the dirt and, after a long pause, handed him a small trowel. The boy came back the next day, then the next. Together, they planted beans in straight rows, and in the evenings, Eli told Henry about school, baseball, and the empty chair at home. Henry listened. For the first time in years, he listened without turning away. Soon, a widow named Mrs. Alvarez began sitting on the bench near the roses during lonely afternoons to play the church piano afterward. A younger veteran, restless and troubled, noticed Henry working quietly in the heat and asked if there was room for one more pair of hands. Then came others, children watering seedlings, church members bringing compost, families carrying broken fence boards and fresh paint. The garden slowly became a place where wounded people could stand beside one another without needing to pretend they were whole. One night, a violent storm swept through town. Wind flattened flower beds, split the fence, and bent the young trees Henry had nurtured for years. At dawn, he walked through the wreckage with a heavy heart, whispering that it was all gone again, that ruin had found him once more. He sat on the church steps, ashamed of the tears he could no longer hold back. Then he heard voices. He looked up and saw the church doors open and people coming out with gloves, shovels, seedlings, and boards. Eli was first. Mrs. Alvarez carried trays of flowers. The veteran brought tools. Families, children, and neighbors followed, and together they knelt in the mud to rebuild what the storm had broken. No one asked Henry to lead. No one asked for an explanation. They simply worked beside him. By sunset, the garden stood alive again, not perfect, but renewed. Henry watered the new blooms while children laughed near the path.